Hello, welcome to the Art of Callie. My name is Callie. I am an illustrator for The Curse of Galate, a D&D based webcomic on Webtoons. I co-create this with my lovely DM Casey, or at Little Moonstone on her Instagram. She is the beautiful genius behind this entire story, and I just help create it and bring it to life. So yeah, today we're going to be going over page 8 from chapter 2. The reason we're doing page 8 and not like page 1 of chapter 1 is because I just recently thought of this idea. So bear with me. Sorry if you get OCD about things like this. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to go over my style, how it came to be, and how everything turns out with the comic. I love time lapses and I love seeing how other people do art, so here we go. I started making this comic roughly about 2 years ago when I was still in college. I want to say 2 years by now, but who knows, time's an illusion. So originally I would draw everything out traditionally, pencil it, ink it in, and at that point I didn't really have a good way to draw backgrounds, which is why there's not a lot of backgrounds in the first couple of chapters. That's not a good excuse, but I'm just kind of telling you why most of the backgrounds are kind of barren. Hopefully in the future chapters I can get more detail, as I have gotten a light box from my lovely mother, and just I think I've improved greatly over the past year or so, especially with the coloring. I really like this style in particular because I feel like it gives me more freedom to play with color. And I don't know, I don't see a lot of unlined, I guess you would say, styles on Webtoons, which I think a lot of people are scared to do it, but really all it is just pretty much what you're seeing right now is just making a shape and coloring it in and then adding in the details afterwards. So this little man I want to talk to you about, his actual name is Dinkle. We don't really have a reason to tell you his name in the actual comic. Dinkle is a inside joke between the players and I. He was originally created by the players of Ton, Husk, and Barnabas when they were doing a different game altogether, and he's kind of just become like this random character that shows up every time someone DMs, whether it's just as a throwaway character or he's an actual NPC like in here, the queen murdering motherfucker. He's just a really fun, kind of chaotic, evil character. He doesn't really have any goals or any huge backstory, to be honest. No spoilers. But he will show up eventually later on as well. So I really love that about him. He's just kind of crazy. He's obsessed with potatoes. That's why he has just like this random potato shank. Why? Is there any reason behind it? No, he's just literally insane and wants to watch the world burn. So as you can see, I'm kind of just adding in detail as I go. I start off with the base flat colors and then add on the other intricate colors on top. Also, just a side note, I apologize if the video just stops for a little bit every once in a while. I don't have a really professional recording studio, so sometimes either my cat or my boyfriend get in the way and demand snuggles or attention, so I have to give them that. Drawing blood is interesting for me. I actually am terrified of gore. I can't watch gory anime or TV shows or zombie movies because I can't handle it. So I try to show as little blood as possible, and when I do, it's just kind of thrown in there for the dramatic effect. So here we go on to Ton, this mysterious... oh gosh, I can't even remember what her class is at the moment. I think it's a blood hunter. It's almost this Witcher-esque class. Doing this panel was very challenging for me. I didn't know what to do for the shading itself because of the lightning or the magic in general coming from their eyes. Also, you'll see me jumping to different pages a lot. I like to pull colors from the pages themselves rather than just like different palettes from characters that are on a separate sheet. I don't know, I feel like it just works a little bit better. I can get multiple characters in one page sometimes. So yeah, I just kind of jump around like that just to get the different colors from everybody. You can see me doing Ton's amazing eyeliner. They're more sisters and twins, but you know, that's how I do my eyeliner in real life anyway. So just kind of adding in the actual electricity magic, I don't know, the badassness that's coming from Tan's eyes to look scary and intimidating. Again, since there's such a bright flash coming from their eyes, I didn't know if I should add shadows to the actual face itself. You can see me playing around with the actual lighting to make it give it a glowy effect, but I ended up just liking the light blue instead. Here I am trying to do Dinkle's eyes. I thought of red color first. I couldn't actually remember while I was drawing what color his eyes were, so I just went like, oh hey, yellow, it seems creepy enough. If it doesn't match up with earlier drawings, I'm so sorry. So this would be a good time with all the quietness for you guys to send me comments and questions down in the comments section. Just send me questions and I can answer them for you. I am so ready to tell you more about this story. I love it. Here I go into coloring in Knockmore. I feel like he's one of the characters that I've drawn the most so far in this entire series. Just drawing his character over and over again, trying to get the details right. It's always been hard to draw armor and come up with different armor designs, so doing his was very interesting. Fun fact about this actual player, he has a tendency to play as fighters. I think one of the last characters he was a fighter whose past he was a sergeant and he committed accidental mass genocide. D&D is a wild time, you guys. Like, this poor man, he's been through a lot. Or he's like a barbarian that used to be a soldier, and it's just, he has a theme and he sticks with it, and it's, you know, good for him. I'm excited for you guys to get to see all of these characters' personalities as the story progresses, because it's not just super serious like I tried to make it out to be in the first chapter. It's more lighthearted and everything like that. I actually really like the entirety of the party layout, just their designs, because it forces me to draw things that I normally wouldn't. Like with Knockmore, this character, I have to draw a Minotaur on almost a daily basis. It's insane the work that goes into making all these different designs, and what's fun is that I actually got to go with all of the different players and they got input on their designs and how they wanted them to look and come out. So there's a lot of things that go into making a D&D comic book. My dad gave me some good words of wisdom a year or so ago about how I can't just create a story by just slapping some words on a page and hoping it sticks. Like, you gotta actually create characters that you'll fall in love with, and a script, and an actual cohesive plot line besides all your bullshittery that you do as an actual player in D&D, because not all D&D games can be Critical Role. There is a lot of BSing that goes on in our game, at least. It's pretty funny. So for what made me actually want to start doing this comic is our DM, Casey. She would record every single session, and I thought that was just fun. And at one point, I was just having so much fun with the game. I turned to her, I'm like, Casey, are you okay with me turning this into a comic? And I just kind of went for it. So she sent me the first recording of our session, of session 1. And pretty much I've been able to get, I want to say a good 3 to 4 chapters out of it so far, at least just for script-wise. So what I do is I have a book where I write down all of the, I want to say transcripts of the actual, of our actual conversations, of our in-game conversations. I try not to add in any of just like the random like stuff that we're doing, like just talking or making jokes. So I'll be sitting there for about a good hour and a half before we actually get to gameplay. So it's pretty interesting trying to come up with a good cohesive story when it's a lot of people just screaming and telling jokes and showing others TikToks. So after I transcribe everything, I kind of try to compile it into a script. I'll sketch out very rough sketches of what I want the comic pages to look like, and I'll have our good DM, Casey, go over them. And just try to make it really good, just a cohesive story. Like I said, I've been able to get 3 chapters, I believe, out of one session so far, which I think is really fun and exciting. So Nakamura's design was a little bit challenging to color, as I rarely draw armor, I rarely design armor, and it's just coloring in gold and this metal armor was just really interesting for me to figure out. I actually ended up falling almost in love with the style that I figured out, just adding in the simple hints of lighter silver or lighter gold tones just to make it pop a bit more, because as you can see, the flat colors, it looks almost boring in a sense, but then as soon as you add that pop of color, it really adds a bit of character to it that I think really makes the entire page. There's a part a couple pages back where Nakamura is falling and he lands, and I added so many highlights, and my boyfriend just turned to me and he said, Callie, you need to tone that down. That is too much highlight. It was just, I had to sit down and realize, like, oh, maybe I'm going a little bit overboard. Here you can see me trying to figure out the shading for Tan's face. I just ended up not doing any shading for it because I don't know, it just looked weird for me, and I figured the light coming from their eyes would have just counteracted that anyway. Here is the final product with all of the dialogue and everything. I think this page actually came out pretty nicely, and I hope you all guys liked it. Check back in next week for pages 9 and 10. Bye-bye!